Good evening. Welcome to this live recording. Thank you for joining me this week. I hope that you've had a fantastic day wherever you're tuning from. My name is Samie Smilz, and I'm here just retiring from my day. And as I always do, I love to connect with you and give you an opportunity to get to know some of the things that are going on my mind. So I just want to take this moment to connect with you and for us to talk about this one thing that is always on my mind. And I'll be sharing my story. I see you joining me from across the world, and I want to say shout outs to everyone who is online. Please remember to comment below in the comment section and tell me where you're joining from and how your day has been. For sure, I'll be encouraged to know that you're having a fantastic day. Wherever you're tuning from, whether the US, whether the UK, whether here in Uganda or across the world, I just want to appreciate you for tuning in. And today I'm going to be giving you my insight on this question I believe all of us have asked before. Am I good enough? Am I good enough? And I hope that as I share some of the thoughts around this question, that today you be encouraged, you feel encouraged, you feel empowered, you feel loved, you feel appreciated, you feel cherished. That's my job today. And let me tell you my story. Along the journey of discovering that I was passionate about music, I asked this question over and over and over and over again. And most of the times, I told myself I was not good enough. I truly believe if I had given myself a chance earlier on, right now, I like to say I would be further in music than I am today. And I know that I am not the only person who has asked such a question. Am I good enough? Now, let me tell you what some of the thoughts I've found about this that can benefit both of us. You know, you and I have been criticizing ourselves for all our lives, and it is evident that it hasn't worked out. That criticizing ourselves does not make us better people. Instead, approving of ourselves does. When we stand and appreciate the uniqueness of who we are, the gifts and talents that God has deposited in us, our uniqueness, our profundity, and the fact that we are alive. So I want to share with you this idea that criticizing yourself has not worked out for these years, and it's not going to work out for the next season of your life and for my life too. It is when we approve of ourselves that actually we move further and faster. How do I know this to be true? When you see most of the champions, most of the boxers, most of the athletes, um, musicians, some of them sometimes make statements that look strange but happen to be true. Some of them would say, "I'm the best." Some of them would say, "I knew I would win." Now, we know some of those statements are so bold to make, but that is an example of affirming what already God has given us. So I want to say, let's affirm ourselves more, and let's not criticize ourselves over and over again. The second idea that I want to share with you is that you are not created to please everyone. It's almost within human nature to want to please every single person we come across. But we all know it is impossible to please everyone. It is actually very difficult to please everyone. But we know that our confidence comes from knowing that we don't have to please everyone. We are meant to please God, to find favor before God. And by doing that, God works it out for us to find favor before men. Every time we try to please people, it's so difficult because every single person is different and unique, and everyone needs to be treated differently. It's impossible actually to please everyone. So I hope that you feel relieved to know that you don't have to please every person you come across. The next idea I want to share with us is that we shouldn't get stuck in the comparison trap. Now, every human, every living person has compared themselves with someone. But here's the truth: there's always going to be someone who is better than you and I in a certain skill, in a certain field. But here's the thing: you're also going to always be better than someone in a certain field or in a certain skill. I might not be the best athlete in the world. Of course, I'm not. If I were, I would not be. I guess I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be here where I am today. I would be further in life. But here's the thing: I am also better than the best athlete in the world in something. It could be music, it could be a gift to encourage others. I mean, everyone has something unique about them. And instead of looking for what you and I don't have, what about celebrating what we have and championing that we have? So instead of comparing ourselves with other people and criticizing ourselves, why not celebrate that which we already have? And if we are to compare ourselves with ourselves in regard to how we are growing and progressing. Um, as I come to an end, uh, I want to come back to the question. So, am I good enough? Here's what I've come to learn: that when we feel like we don't deserve love, it is when we need it the most. When we feel like we are not good enough, it's when we need to be approved the most. And one thing I know is that no matter where you are today, no matter what you've been through, no matter what has happened in your life and mine, God loves you. Regardless of what you did yesterday, the day before, and even before you were born, and regardless of what you're going to do tomorrow, God truly loves you, because God's love for us is regardless, it is in spite of what is happening in our lives. It is in spite of, it is not because of. God does not love us because God does not love us because we have done this, we have been good people, we have. No. God loves us in spite of that. The Bible tells us that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So I have proof. I can tell you this beyond reasonable doubt, that God truly loves you regardless of where you are right now in your life. And because God loves you, it is it I hope that this lands enough for you and I to know that if we are good enough for God to love us, because anyway, God loves us regardless, then we are good enough. If we are still alive, which we are, then we are good enough for a time as this. If we were not good enough at all, then we wouldn't be here for sure. But because God loves us, because God has given us an opportunity to be alive today, we are good enough. We have a purpose for this time, for this season. We are here for a reason. And even if it is to encourage someone, even if it is to draw someone out of a heartbreaking situation and restore them, even if it is only for that reason, we are still good enough. I want you to know that you are good enough. You are good enough not just because of, but in spite of. You are good enough because God loves you, God cherishes you. And I hope that as we conclude this, that you find something special about yourself that you appreciate and you affirm. Please know that you are loved, you are cherished, you are adored, you are awesome, you are incredible, and I hope that you remember those words. Otherwise, thank you for joining me on this episode. Soon we'll be sharing more. I want to thank you one more time for voting for me in the Vegan Music Awards. We are leading at the moment, but we still need many, many, many more votes to win the award. So if you haven't voted, I want to encourage you to vote. I will still post the link in the comments, but also if you haven't listened to my latest song, It's Over, wow, you need to check this out, because those that have are telling me it's a brilliant song. They love it. They feel encouraged. One of the things that amazes me the most about this new song is that it is cutting across all religion, and for me that is incredible, because that is evidence that our God doesn't care about which religion. He will still draw people to himself. So I will share the link in. Please check it out. If you haven't voted, wherever you are from across the world, you can still vote for me to win the Musician of the Year award. I love you guys. I cherish you, and I wish you a fantastic evening, morning, night, whatever time it is where you are. As I conclude, I want to give shout outs to Jamie Shockley, thank you for tuning in. My one and only Amy Ross, Abin Singuza, thank you for tuning in. Molly Benny, thank you for tuning in. Shannon Spires, thank you for tuning in. DJ Musa, my brother, thank you for tuning in. Much love and respect. Mawanda Lucky, thank you for tuning in. Matthew White, thank you for tuning in. Andrew Matov Jean, thank you for tuning in. Sandra, thank you for tuning in. Dadona Michael, thank you for tuning in. Angie Jacobs, thank you for tuning in. Who else? Richards, thank you for tuning in. Much love and respect to you. Also, I see Alan the Real, thank you for tuning in. Lynette Glover, thank you for tuning in. Paula, wow, shout outs to you. I love you guys. Much love, much respect. Have an incredible night. Please go check out my new song, It's Over. You can even go on YouTube and search Samie Smilz and check it out. Otherwise, don't forget to vote. May God bless you, and you are good enough. Goodbye.